So today, what I'm going to be doing is giving you a brief history of how payroll began, where we are with it today, some calculations I'd like you to do, and then a little quiz at the end. Okay? So, the topics that we're going to be covering are obligations for accountancy, a brief overview of PAYE and how it all began, a brief overview of NIC and why it was introduced, different types of statutory payments, and different types of absences through the payroll, and the payment of statutory sick pay. So the obligation for accountancies. Payroll is not a standalone function. It has obligations to the accountancy function with any organisation or accountancy firms. It is essential for payroll staff to be clear in its definition and to recognise the strategic part that payroll total costs play in budget and financing all of the organisation. The payroll accountancy interface and the overall context of the organisation's total labour costs will vary from employer to employer, as different pay elements make up the total employee costs of any organisation. So let's look at what constitutes an employee's total gross cost in addition to their basic salary. Here are some of the most common pay elements. You've got overtime, bonus, statutory payments. Allowances through payroll, such as travel expenses, accommodation, and fuel allowances. I mean, any organisation can have any types of additions and deductions they choose to operate through their organisation. But on top of that, we've also got statutory costs to the employer, which are employers' national insurance, employers' pension contributions, especially with auto-enrolment workplace pensions coming in, as this obviously is quite sort of expensive for small employers because it's an on-cost to them that they haven't really budgeted for, so the cost has got to come from somewhere. There are all types of different pay elements that need to be accounted for and reconciled at the end of each month, because at the end of the day, if your books don't balance, you've got an issue. The employer's contractual obligation is to pay their employees accurately and on time, whether it be by cash or electronic transfer. And also with the introduction of real-time information now from HMRC, that is really important. The statutory obligations, the deduction, pay elements and reconciliation of income tax, NIC, including any adjustments from SMP, SPP and SAP, which we'll be covering later, the attachment of earnings order and student loans. All these pay elements here, the employer is responsible for paying over to the relevant bodies. The organisational agreements, the complete reconcile of payroll transaction. Here is a list of the most common. So again, you're looking at pension contributions, loans, advances, accommodation, trade union subs, and medical insurance. The payroll transaction must agree so that the accountancy and payroll requirements are reconciled and the payroll expenditure has been proven. From knowing the true cost of an employee, the organisation will be able to compile accurate job costings for their employees. This is very common in manufacturing.